Welcome in, there's the latest edition of Extra Time. Ali's here, Stevie. I know. Nathan, who's just been ghosting us for the last couple of weeks. We say, Nate, can you come on today? No, I wonder why. Nothing to do, of course, with what Manchester City have been up to.
He was very angry today, very touchy.
Well, it was a little bit...
I know.
A little, yeah.
I mean, I can recognize it, I can see it.
Yes, but how are you, Nathan? You well?
No, yeah, I've never been better. City doing great. Nobody's trying to level that at me, so everything's great, Dan. Everything's fantastic.
I told you, edgy. Very edgy.
Can't let it go.
To the team, with Newcastle fans potentially being hostile to Isak, are there clubs that did not like you as a player? You went to watch a game at Old Trafford once, didn't you, Steve?
Yeah.
That was a silly thing to do.
Yeah, a couple of times, yeah.
This is when you were in your pomp at Liverpool.
Yeah, let's just say I never got much of a welcome.
This is because Michael was a Manchester United fan, yeah?
Yeah.
And you tried to...
Yeah, my son was 8 years old at the time.
Right.
People were coming up to the car and banging on the windows and calling me all kinds of names.
You didn't think at any
swearing.
stage of going to Old Trafford this may not be the best plan?
Well, I kind of figured, and I should have known, I kind of figured that most people are adults and would be, particularly when you've got an 8-year-old boy with you,
Yes.
they're not going to stand in front of you and call you all kinds of names. But on that occasion, I was wrong.
Yeah.
So,
Did you say you went a couple of times?
yeah,
You went back for more?
yeah.
That's okay. Well, that's just dumb.
Well, my son wanted to go. What am I going to do?
Get Eleanor to take him or something.
Oh, well, yeah.
Why? There's you.
Talking about.
What, you're there
Yeah,
in
let
your
it
Crown
take it.
Paints candy kit, whichever Liverpool
Well, that
gets
didn't
it
help.
on.
Having me kit and my boots on didn't really help. And a Liverpool scarf around my neck.
Carrying all your trophies.
Yeah. I had all my medals pinned on my jersey.
So what did you think was going to be different the second time?
That people are going to be mature and grown-ups about this.
Well, it was a Champions League game,
Okay.
which I guess doesn't really change anything. But no, I just figured that it wouldn't happen, but I was wrong again.
Yes. Nadem?
Yeah, so in terms of places that I've played, I think Newcastle fans probably don't like me too much, having played for Sunderland for that year. But one thing that they have in their favour is that they battered us at St James's Park, so they can almost see me and laugh at me.
Okay.
And then from a City perspective, I wasn't part of this City era, which is, you know, essentially done a lot better than United. So again, they can look at me and laugh at me. Then I played at QPR, the only team in West London not playing in the Premier League at the moment. So as you can probably see, there's a bit of a theme here.
Yes,
Dan.
there is.
Not really too bothered about what I'm doing, but there is one thing in particular. I think it was probably 3-4 years ago when I was at Wembley and I was there watching a Man United game, and there was a bunch of United fans get really angry at me because they were still frustrated that somehow City beat QPR in 2012 and feel like it was all my fault.
Yeah.
United should have won that league title.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I think most people are sane enough to not do anything too
Forget
crazy.
Joey
for that.
Barton. Forget Kun Aguero. It was all your fault.
I don't know whether I told you.
All my fault, Dan.
Go on.
I once got a lift back in a Manchester United supporters bus from Old Trafford.
How did that come about?
I was at Sheffield Wednesday and I was going home, I was going back to Scotland, and I was trying to figure out how I could either get to the station or... And then I thought, you know what? Brian McClare was on the coaching staff at United. So I thought he's probably got somebody at the game from Glasgow. So I'll see if I can get a lift back to Glasgow and I'll get a train back to Troon from Glasgow. And he said, well, I don't have anybody coming particularly, he said, but there's a bunch of guys coming down from the West Coast, down here, down Dumfries, all that way, on a bus. There's going to be about 30 of them. I was like, oh dear, I don't know whether that's a good idea. But I thought, okay, the Scottish guys. And they were fantastic. They picked me up outside I got right out. Nobody said a word to me, by the way. I went right out the front door at United. Nobody even looked at me twice. Went with a guy, we got on the bus, drove back to Glasgow, and then he gave me a lift down to Troon because he was from
How
there.
tight are you, Stevie?
Well, how else was I going to get home?
Pay for a driver.
But people didn't do that sort of thing back then, Dan.
Right, they got on buses.
You generally would get a train.
Right.
So all you had to do was get a lift to the station.
Okay.
But he said, look, Boys are all right, and they were fantastic.
I mean, thanks, Steve.
Got me, had beer and all kinds.
No.
Honestly.
Really?
Aye.
What a great experience.
Fantastic.
There you are.
They're all grown up.
I was drunk as a skunk by the time I got home.
Ali, was it mostly your own fans?
Well, yeah, I was about to say, both Stevie and Natum brought up opposing fans. I was booed by the Venezuelan fans.
Yeah, I remember you saying.
Because I had apparently a relationship with the current coach. They didn't like the coach. They thought I was his boy and that I was protected by him. And so every time that we had an open training session ahead of a World Cup qualifier, and every time I touched the ball in that training session, I was booed by the stadium. And then and it took me a while, and I've said this before, I told the story before, is that it took me a while to figure out, it's like, oh, they're booing, but who are they booing? Because, oh, they're booing me. They're booing me. And that's, it's quite humbling. And at the same time, it may be annoying to some degree, and I just find it funny. I find it amusing. As like, I thought, they really think that I'm only on this team because of that coach that they hate.
And I think booing's going to help.
And it wasn't going to make me any better, booing me. I wasn't going to score any more goals.
That bar was...
I was what I was. Good Lord.
Stevie, does the failed transfer of Gay to Liverpool affect the relationship between Glasner and the player, knowing that he had a hand in the transfer not going through?
I don't think so. I mean, he's a captain. I'll be shocked if him and Gay don't get on like a house on fire.
Right.
And I really don't see Gay doing anything other than continue to do what he's done. So, yeah, I don't see a problem whatsoever.
And Natum, I'm not sure if you heard this story. Dani Rodriguez of Mallorca has been stripped of the captaincy and suspended because he publicly complained that he didn't get to play against Madrid with his family in attendance. Have you ever invited your friends and family to a match but ended up just sitting on the bench?
Firstly, I need to say, obviously, there's some context to it, but that also sounds like one of the softest things I've ever heard. But yeah, to say have I invited family and sat on the bench, I got to a point where I was sitting on the bench so much I told family to stop coming to games. So I don't think I had that experience as such.
Right.
So yeah, I've not quite had it like that. I've had some disappointment in games which I wish I would have played in, but never from the standpoint of people coming down to watch me anyway.
I actually told one of my players, because his family was in the stand, that if he didn't stop showing off, I was going to take him off.
Oh, really? You were showboating for the old folks?
Aye. Trying all kinds of flicks and back heels and all kinds of
Which
stuff.
Which player was this?
It doesn't matter. I just got him at half time, got him in I just waited for him to disappear into the toilets, and I just basically went over and said, if you do that again, I'm taking you off, family or not.
And did he behave?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
There you are, Steve. It's funny thinking of you as like a real coach.
Yeah. Weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, it is
Serious.
Serious. Ali?
Now, I was thinking about when I was in my dying days at Chivas USA, and I knew that the party was coming to an end. I could feel it, and it didn't take much when you were at Chivas USA. It's where dreams go to die.
Right.
And
You'd be a good 30 for 30 on Chivas USA.
well, yeah, you could. Yeah, you could. Melissa, she wanted to come to the game, but the kids were young, and it's a whole thing when you bring in young kids to the game, and it's a whole production. I said, don't worry about it. Look, we're not going to the playoffs, whatever. I knew I was going to play anyways. I just wasn't sure as to what my future was going to be. And I think had she known that I was thinking about this being the end,
right,
she would have liked to have been there and see my last game.
Yeah.
It ended up being my last game just because of circumstances, but I think that's one that, I don't know that she really enjoyed going to my games to begin with.
Did she go to all of them?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And then this one in particular, she didn't because, I don't know, maybe one of the kids was sick and it was a whole thing. I said, don't worry about it. Looking back, it's probably one of the games that she would have liked to have been a part of. And I don't know that she ever really loved coming to the games or loved the sport, but she knew how important it was to me, and she wanted.
Did she boo you as well?
Probably. Probably.
She started it.
Probably.
Did Eleanor go to all your games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she was. You went. So because I was so superstitious, she would be the same sitting in the stand. So if the kids were there, well, they weren't kids then. My daughter had a baby and all, but they weren't allowed to move. Either it was half time, or if we scored, or just all kinds of silly things.
Right.
That's what she was like up in the stand.
Okay.
Aye.
What about you, Nathan?
So for the first half of my career before she passed, my mum used to go to all my games. Basically went to every game that I'd ever played in from when she was alive. And then when I was at City, I had a box. When I was at Sunderland, I had a box. And then when we were at QPR for the first season, it was great. But then that next season, things were getting so toxic to where like I was picking and choosing who would actually want to come to the games. I was like, it's probably not a good idea to come because maybe there could be a revolt. Maybe you'll hear things you don't necessarily want to be hearing. And it was like weeks and weeks and weeks of this. So I think towards the back end of my career, there were times where I'd just say, I'm just going to go. It's work. It is what it is. But for the bigger games and the more emotional ones, then they were always there. For my last game, like all my family were there. I think for my last game at QPR, family were there as well, and it was nice to be able to walk out on the pitch with them afterwards and to share those moments and share those memories as well. So yeah, they didn't come to all the games, but they were definitely the ones that mattered the most.
My mum and dad went to 3 games.
Wow.
1 game at Ayr United, 1 game at Scotland, and 1 game at Liverpool.
That was it?
That was it.
Because?
My dad golfed in the weekend.
Because he played golf.
Played golf.
Wow. Was he related to?
To whom?
Burley, sorry.
Wait a minute. Wow.
Where's that going?
Wow.
Nathan, are all your kids City fans? No one's supported to United to spite you or anything?
No, there's no spite there. But I'll tell you a story. A couple of years ago, my son was doing like a football camp thing. And the coaches, I used to speak to them, and they're 2 big United fans. And they always used to try and wind up my son saying, oh, horrible City fan, horrible City fan. And then my son said, I don't support City, I support United. And I was like, hold on a second, kid, what did you just say? He said, I support United. I was like, I beg your pardon? So that's when I realised that for me, he said that, but firstly I thought, what a naive child. And secondly, I couldn't actually spend money to get a United shirt for him. So what I did was I bought the red and black City shirt, and since then he's been converted.
Wow.
He's a City fan like his sisters, and that's the way it will be forever.
Goodness me. How long was Michael a United fan for?
Probably about 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
What was the reason?
So when he was about 7, that's when Beckham and Scholes
the class of
and the whole
92,
class of
right.
92.
Right.
So everybody was into them.
Yeah, and
all the young kids.
Liverpool had what? Don Hutchinson.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's
So for
quite the drop-off. Quite the drop-off.
yeah. So for like maybe two, maybe 3 years.
And you didn't go all Nadem on him and get angry?
Well, I figured that he would grow out it.
Right.
Because he would still come to our games
Right.
at home.
Yeah.
And
sure
enough, he did. All of a sudden, he was like, what am I doing? So,
I see. And now he calls you during games?
Oh, aye. He's a right punter.
Stevie, with all the recent money, with all the recent big money additions Liverpool has made, would it be considered a very disappointing season if they won the Premier League but got knocked out of the Champions League?
No. I'll be more than happy if they win the Premier League.
Yep.
Regardless of what happens in the Champions League. So no. Yes would be the answer.
Dan and Stevie, any chance Nadem's going to apologise on air for torching your City predictions? In case you missed this, Nadem was over here, wasn't he, pre-season, and we were saying, look, nothing's changed in the City's defence. And then he was like, did you not see the last 2 months? Everyone's back, everybody's fit, everybody's fine. And obviously they start the season the way they did.
You don't know anything, Dan. You don't know anything.
Well, I don't know when Eze's going to start, to be fair. Nadem, Rodri's back, yet the problems remain. Is it down to the system or the player profiles?
I don't know. I think they'll get into it. I think for Rodri, it's his second start maybe since he did his ACL, so he's probably not going to be his absolute best. I think you're missing someone like a Phil Foden who could also get back to his best, considering they're 2 of the last 3 winners of the Premier League Player of the Season. There's probably a bit more ability there. So I'm not going to overreact to it, but also I'm not going to be apologising to you every week City don't win. But hopefully this will be the last chance that they can do that for a while. It's an early prediction. Let's see how things go, Dan Thomas.
You know Nadem is testy when he turns like 45-degree angle to the camera and then start
Well,
head bobbing. Start head bobbing. With,
and you know, you could just see a little gun.
Let me show you that I still got some guns here, Dan. Don't you worry about it.
Exactly. You know, just keep those flexing. Me and Nathan were at the high school track when he was here.
Correct.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I know.
And what's he doing, and what were you doing?
Hold on. That sounds like something it's not.
Nathan was doing sprints, and they were very impressive.
He was walking the dog.
All right, and we must ask the question: why, Nathan? Why are you doing sprints?
Because I do Masters Athletics.
Yeah.
But also, speaking of Masters, this one's for you, Dan Thomas.
Go on.
I'm doing Masters football on Friday this week. So I'm sure there'll be some clips worthy of the show loading up in the next few days.
God,
it's
who
going to
said
be
no
City,
to that
United,
if you're invited?
Liverpool, and Everton. Listen, they could get whoever lived nearby, and I happen to live 15 minutes away. So yeah, long may it be a good event, Dan.
Oh, lovely. Well, good.
We'll be able to see that Masters Athletics.
It's got on YouTube, isn't it?
I'll need to have a look at it.
There you are. Beautiful.
Oh, no. Okay.
Who was better?
I'd like to watch that.
Who was better in the track, Nathan, Jan, or the fish?
My poppy.
Yes.
Nathan would lap the fish and Jan a lot, actually. Very fast. But he runs, you know, he's got a very angry face when he's running.
And we've learned that about him, that there's a lot of anger.
There is most there, and it comes out, you know. That is it.
It's this show.
Enjoy the Masters. We're going to have to find that on Friday. ESPN FC returns to your screens tomorrow. What's happening tomorrow? Are you in?
Yeah.
I am not.
What are you going to talk about?
It depends what you ask me.
Well, I'm off.
Oh, well, none.
Soccer. A lot of soccer.
Soccer.